What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Frontline Film Podcast, episode number 18. We got a fun episode for y'all today. It's a Marvel episode. It's a Marvel week. We hadn't had one since Brave New World back in February. So I'm gonna be reviewing Thunderbolts here in a little bit. It's gonna look a little different. Landon is going out of town this weekend, so we're recording this before it even comes out. Um, so it'll just be a solo review, but we're still gonna have it in here as well at the end. So stay tuned for that. And that review is also going to be posted separately, probably before this podcast comes out. So it's going to look a little different. He didn't pick the best weekend to go out of town since it's a Marvel movie, but it's okay. I'm still gonna give my thoughts right after I see it. So there'll still be a little bit of a review here. But we got some other stuff that came out earlier this week before he's going out of town we wanted to talk about. We got a couple trailers, three really good trailers for three very different movies. Very, very excited to break those down. And then we're going to talk Studio and Andor. Um, we obviously haven't seen the newest episode of Last of Us, so we can't do that. But we will be sure to jump on those for next week's episode. So, yeah, you want to tell the people where you're going?
Yeah, so I'm going to Washington, D.C. for the first time. When we're recording this, my flight leaves at 5:30 tomorrow morning, so got to be at the airport pretty freaking early. I've never been though. We're flying into Baltimore, got a train ride over to Washington, but no, we're excited. We got tickets to a lot of stuff. I'm gonna go meet Senator Bucky Barnes. Should be exciting. Gonna do
Mm.
that while Cole's watching his movie, of course. But other than that, no, I'll be back, and by the next episode, everything Cole will have be a little bit different viewing his old background. It's very empty in your little studio.
Yeah, man. Nothing on the walls.
Nothing.
Only a TV and a couch right now.
Mhm.
I think I said it on last week. I got a big move coming up, so pretty exciting stuff I'll talk about here in a couple weeks. But last pod here. So let's just jump right into it. So like I said, we've gotten three trailers this week early already. It's only Wednesday, and we got three killer trailers. The first of which being the trailer for A24's new movie starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson, The Smashing Machine. A24 directed by Benny Safdie, who's a very good director outside of being really good like in Oppenheimer and some other movies he stars in. And it's A24 and it's The Rock. It's a UFC movie. It's a true story. What's his name? Mark Kerr
Mhm.
or something like that. I don't know anything about his story. It's kind of like early on in UFC days when it wasn't very popular. I almost kind of want to go in blind, not knowing about his story because I don't want to have it like spoiled. But I think we've talked about it on this pod before. I think this is going to be the first test ever to see if The Rock can really act. Um, Obviously, we enjoy a lot of his movies, and he is great at making like blockbusters and action movies. But we've never really seen him like just put on a superb acting performance. Even other action movie stars like Tom Cruise or Hugh Jackman or Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr. We've seen them do the action movies, but we've also seen that they can really act in like serious roles as well. So this will be the first test for The Rock, but the movie looks really solid. He kind of disappears because it's hard to hide The Rock. I mean, he's a big, just he's the only guy that looks like him. You know, he's just a big dude. He's probably the most recognizable guy on the planet. So for him to hide behind the makeup and the prosthetics here says a lot. You really can't tell it's him, other than just the massive body, but his face looks completely different. Um, yeah, man, I'm definitely very excited for this. I think it comes out in October. Um, and yeah, I'm excited to see if he can really act. That would be super cool if he delivers like an award-worthy performance.
Yeah, no, we know we've seen very good performances from Batista and John Cena, and the reason I named them is because they all came from the WWE. Even Edge had his little moment in Percy Jackson series. The Rock is somebody who just, he's gonna get people to the movies. and we've never really seen him take on a role where he has to be somebody else. Like he's always the Rock in his movies. Nah, man. From what this trailer showed, it looks like if he doesn't put on a very good performance, this movie could kind of suck. But if he's very good, he could be. I mean, this is like one of those Oscar bait movies, man. Remember when the Iron Claw, like the first trailers we saw of the Iron Claw was Zac Efron, like, and not to say we didn't know Zac Efron could act, but we knew that in this movie he had to be really good. It's the same thing here. This is gonna be probably people that talk about like, hey, this could get an award for The Rock. This could get an award for The Rock, but we don't know. Actually have to see it. This was very interesting. We don't really get like a old we've been doing this for a while now with the Iron Claw and then with F1 and then one that just came out recently that I'm blanking on talking about like sports and like stuff like that that's actually going on in the sports world, true stories or about a different league. This one's going to be very interesting. I think the Iron Claw is amazing. I think it's one of the most emotional movies to come out in recent memory, and that's because of the performance Zac Efron puts on. So if The Rock can do it, man, he's got some stars around him in that movie that can maybe bring it out in him.
Emily Blunt.
Yeah,
Yep.
Emily Blunt's in it. I'm excited, but I'm very hesitant because we just know who The Rock is. So he's gonna have to put on a show for real. Like he's gonna have to hide behind the character. He doesn't look like him though. Like you said, like the prosthetics, makeup, everything that's on him kind of hides a very recognizable face. But when people realize it's The Rock, might get some people to go.
Yeah, man. No, I'm curious to see what kind of performance Safdie can unlock out of him. So for those of you that don't know, and I don't even know if you know, but Safdie directed, or the Safdie brothers directed Uncut Gems
Mhm.
with Sandler a couple years ago, and that was Adam Sandler's like kind of step into a serious role that no one really
Yep.
knew. See, he's much more known for his comedy being stupid, and then Uncut Gems, like the trailer came out and was like, wow, this Adam Sandler is going to be delivering like a serious role.
Yep.
And no one knew how it would go, and people love that movie. People love his performance in that movie. I think it's a shame he wasn't nominated for that movie because he, like Dwayne Johnson in this trailer, he kind of hide like even though it's him, like he hides behind the character so
Right.
well. He plays it so well that you don't even think about Adam Sandler and Happy Gilmore and things like that. So if they've proven they can do it with him, I think they can do it with someone like The Rock as well. I think The Rock loves movie making. Obviously, he wants to make blockbusters that make a ton of money, but I do think he does have a love for cinema and wants to prove himself. That's just the athlete in him, his competitive nature. I think he wants to prove that he can do it. So I'm very excited for that. Like, yeah, a little hesitant, but I trust Benny Safdie and A24. And like you said with Iron Claw, that's another movie where, like, an actor known for action and comedy, we really got to see shine as an actor for the first time. Another actor that got snubbed. He should have. I mean, that would have been the same year as Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, but he should have at least gotten a nom. Zac
Nomination.
Efron.
Agreed.
Um, that was probably the second best role that year. Unreal, unreal movie. I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, I think this is gonna be cool. We'll just have to kind of wait and see. Um, and yeah, yeah, I don't really know off the top of my head what other like big stuff The Rock has coming. So this could be like a a big moment in his career. Um, maybe if it sucks, he'll probably just go back to action movies. But if it's really good, who knows what else we could see him in. So yeah, that's the Smashing Machine for A24. We love a good sporting movie, a good like heartfelt emotional story. It's got Emily Blunt in it, and it's directed by Benny Safdie. So definitely some green flags there. I think we're both going to enjoy it. So that was the Smashing Machine. We also got a trailer for the third installment of the Now You See Me series. Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Um, Good title. I still think it should have been Now You Three Me. It was right there. But yeah, we got the first trailer and a wild marketing stunt, which I'll mention in a minute. But yeah, it's got the whole original cast returning: Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Isla Fisher, Dave Franco, Morgan Freeman, and then we got some new people as well: Justice Smith, Ariana Greenblatt, and Dominic Sessa. Three young, really, really great actors and actresses that we've seen in a lot of good stuff. Oh, I mean, Dominic Sess has only been in the holdovers, but he was really good in that, and I think he's getting cast in some more things. So, and Ariana Greenblatt has obviously been in a ton of stuff, in the last couple of years. And then we like Justice Smith as well. You were talking about him the other day, in Detective Pikachu. So, yeah, it looks like we're getting our original band of misfits back together, to do a heist, and it looks like they kind of recruit some new younger magician talent. So,
Mhm.
looks like it could be cool.
Yeah, I like we said. Now You See Me was in my great like best heist movies draft. The first one, the second one is fine. It's just not as good as the first one. I like to see everybody coming back though. I was kind of nervous when they. You always get nervous when they announce a movie like this to see if everybody's gonna come back. But it looks like they are, and they're adding very new, interesting people that me and you have both been very high on. Dominic Sessa, like when I saw him in the holdovers for the first time, I mean, my goodness, he is just outstanding. Justice Smith, I love. Ariana Greenblatt as well. So I mean, there's very good young talent in this. And um, it looks like they're trying to do the same thing they kind of did, where they know people are stealing kind of from people lesser than them, and they want to give that money back in the same way. The marketing stunt that you're going to talk about here in a second is just insane. I can't believe that's even a thing, honestly. Where's ours, by the way? I would love
Oh,
some.
I signed up.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's sick. I'm very, very, very excited. This trailer made me more excited. Um, I also like the fact that like the younger people kind of are he said it in the trailer, but like fanboying over like the older magicians. And at the very beginning, he's trying to recruit the young ones to kind of do take part in that first initial heist, and then they all show up and save the four that are recruited. So I'm very interested. I would love to see where the story goes, and it's probably going to be. I'm hoping for more like wild magic stunts that they pull in this one, just to like one up the first and second one. I just want that. I think it's going to be extremely, extremely fun. So super excited for the cast too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm wondering if it's going to end on a cliffhanger because they did announce the fourth one as well.
Yeah,
Um, so we'll just have to see. But yeah, very excited. And then the marketing stunt I want to talk about. So before the trailer came out, um, the a timer like started in Times Square with the phone number, like the marketing phone number, and it was just basically like, sign up to receive updates or something. It was coded in a weirder message than that, but basically, a lot of movies do that when trailers and things come out. It's like, sign up for this number to get exclusive info and blah 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 blah. And it was on a live stream. And then the trailer premiered. And then shortly after the trailer premiered, a whole lot of people on Twitter started sharing that if you had signed up for the phone number, like marketing, emails or whatever, before the timer went off, I think it was up for like an hour or something. If you had done that, they sent people $119. Like tons of people. Um, which is just unreal, which is really cool because that's what the movies are about. But I mean, I've never heard of a movie doing that. That's just crazy. And I mean, you got to be honest. Like if I was in Times Square and I saw like a phone number get posted up there, it was like, hey, sign up for updates. Like I'm not gonna do it.
right.
I'll just get my updates on Twitter like everyone else. And
Yeah.
the select few people that were like, I'll do it, got $119. There's no telling how many people did it.
I bet you it wasn't
Crazy.
as many as you think, because they probably think the same way you did.
I mean, yeah, yeah. And I obviously like as soon as I found out the trailer was already out and it was over, I signed up just to see, obviously to no luck. But yeah, crazy marketing stunt, very cool. Which
Yeah.
kind of tells me, they're going all in on this movie. I can definitely see them having a really cool different marketing campaign, maybe filled with like magic-esque
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I love it. Playing into the movie and just doing something I've never seen before. So I thought that was very cool. Wanted to touch on that. But yeah, the movie looks solid. Comes out in November. Um, yeah, I'm excited to see the Four Horsemen back at it. So um, yeah, so that's Now You See Me, Now You Don't. And then the last trailer we got, which I think was the best trailer, We got the first official trailer for Weapons, the new horror movie directed by Zach Kreger, who did Barbarian a couple years ago. Um, I think he also helped out with Companion earlier this year. I think he might have been a producer or something,
Mhm.
but um, yeah. So new wild horror movie from him, and if you know Barbarian, you know that like that movie takes a turn that like no one sees coming, and I feel like based on the trailers, you have no idea what the movie's really about. Well, I think this is going to be the same way. We got a trailer. It gives a very simple premise, but I just feel like there's so much more underneath that they're not sharing. But it looks very, very creepy. Essentially, a whole um, classroom of students just leave their house and run away in the middle of the night at the same time. Just one classroom, not a whole school, just one classroom. And so everyone's trying to figure out where these kids went and why it was just this one teacher whose students left and, just looks wild. That maybe sounds dumb just hearing about it, but you just got to watch the trailer and see. This movie looks awesome. It looks genuinely like really creepy and unsettling. The kids running like airplane arms or whatever like this, running through the night singing. Nah, nope, 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 nope. There's just something about creepy kids that just is just scarier than anything else. But um, yeah, from the guy that did Barbarian, which I think I drafted in my horror movie draft, one of the best horror movies, if not the best horror movie of the last 5 years. Um, and that movie kind of takes some turns you do not see coming at all. And I think this movie is going to be the same way. I don't know if you saw, but apparently Jordan Peele had wanted to direct this
I
movie.
was gonna bring this up.
He saw the script. I'll let you share it then. I'll let you share it.
Yeah, so like he was saying, basically Jordan Peele, he basically got outbid for this movie script. When he read it, he was so high on it that he was going to like, bid for the movie script so he could produce it. And he got outbid and basically fired people in his inner circle because he was so upset that he didn't get it,
His
which
management
is
team.
like, dude, this is one of the like we brought it up when we talked 28 years later, like the trailer, like how it makes you feel. This is one of like the I don't know how to describe it. I'm not gonna say best trailers because I don't think that's what I mean, but like one of the biggest impact trailers. Like when I'm watching it, I'm like, dude, I'm genuinely like freaked the hell out. Like this is one of the freakiest, creepiest movie trailers. I have no idea what's going on. It gives you nothing of the story. The ads on Twitter for this movie have been A plus because before the trailer came out, they were just like
Releasing
showing
like little
video
like
cam footage.
like from light poles.
Yes, that is so good. It is so good. I will probably go see this movie. I did not go see Barbarian in theaters. You recommended it, and I think you watched it with
I
me.
did.
A couple months later or whatever it was. But this is a movie I'll go see in theaters, and I'll probably watch through my fingers. This is like, dude, this is the craziest concept I've ever heard. Because like you always are like, oh yeah, kids get up, they go missing or whatever. But like it's one classroom at the same time at 2:17 in the morning. They all got up and they never came back. Like that's insane. And yes, they're all T-pose running and whatever. And like the one scene that gets me from the trailer is when it's Julia Garner, right?
Yeah.
She walks in to the classroom. It's obviously the middle of the night, and all the kids are sitting there. And then the O pops up, and the kid like looks up at her and is just smiling. Dude,
Yeah.
creepy as hell, man. I thought this trailer was amazing. It makes me so excited, but also like very nervous to watch this movie. This movie is gonna probably give me nightmares of some sort.
Yeah.
But I will definitely. If Jordan Peele is so upset that he didn't get the movie, fired people over it, we should probably be listening.
Yeah, dude. Had this trailer or like I don't even know if this movie was announced at the beginning of the year when we did our draft, but like had this been drafted in the trailer or had it been like announced and the trailer was out, would have 100% taken this movie. Like it looks incredible. I got the cast pulled up right here. It's going to have Julia Garner, who plays Ruth in Ozark. For those of you that have seen that, she's also going to be playing
Silver
Silver
Surfer.
Surfer this summer in the new Fantastic Four movie. We got Josh Brolin, Benedict Wong, Alden Ehrenreich, and some other people I recognize as well. So, and I think that they did like tease that there are a lot more people in the cast that have not been announced, which is cool. Um, yeah, dude, this movie looks sick. It looks very creepy. Um, I don't know if it's gonna. I don't think it will. I don't know if it's gonna be like a demonic route kind of thing, or if it's just gonna be something wild. But I think the fact that, at least based on the trailer, it doesn't look like anything like that. It just makes it so much creepier. Like
We have no idea.
we
We
have
don't
no
know.
idea. I saw people theorizing that 217 could potentially be in reference to a Bible verse, and so people were like looking at different Bible verses, you know, Genesis 2:17 or Revelations 2:17. And there were a couple that I was like, oh, maybe that could, kind of turn into something. So we'll see. I don't know what happened to these kids, but hopefully we find out. And that comes out when?
August 8th?
Um, yes, you're correct. August 8th. So that's really not too long.
Yeah, I
Just
couldn't
a
forget
couple
that
months,
trailer.
man.
I'm not gonna forget that trailer for
That's
a
a
long
sick
time.
trailer. I can't wait to see that in theaters.
I can.
Oh, okay. But
It's just creepy.
yeah, so that's the three big trailers we got this week, and like we said, we're recording this on Wednesday. So if there are more tomorrow or Friday, we will definitely react to them on the next pod. But I was excited that we got three pretty big trailers this week before you
If
left. So yeah, that's our three movies, three very different movies, but three movies we were very excited for.
if you follow us on Twitter, you'll see us talk about the trailers. So you might as well just follow us on Twitter.
Yes,
And their links are below, so just follow us there.
and everything else. So yeah, that's our trailers. No real movie news, but we did want to talk about the TV shows we've been watching, like we do every week. Wanted to kickstart things with the studio. Newest episode of the studio came out. Apple TV's new series starring Seth Rogen, episode number 7. Um, Loved this episode. Really loved it. Basically, this is the first time an episode is called back to an earlier episode. In the first episode, they're talking about making the Kool-Aid movie, and in this movie, they finally bring back the Kool-Aid movie conversation, and they're trying to figure out a cast. They got Ice Cube cast as voicing the Kool-Aid Man, and a couple other people you recognize, like playing other characters. But essentially, what this whole episode is about is Matt and the rest of his team are worried that a black man playing the voice of the Kool-Aid Man could potentially be controversial. So it tackles big questions like that, like racial stuff. But then it also tackles the like very, current problem in Hollywood of AI. So it tackles like two really big issues in one short episode. But this was one of my favorites so far. I thought it was so funny. Ice Cube was hilarious. They were all panicking, trying like overthinking, trying to get it right, um, and just kept screwing up along the way. It had a little cameo from Lil Rel. Like I said, Ice Cube was in it. I think some others. But yeah, no, really funny episode. What did you think?
I personally enjoyed it. I was laughing out loud multiple times in this episode. It's probably the most I've laughed at an episode. And it was also like you said, it was really short. It's 24 minutes. Like this did it like immediately, like pretty quick, and you could kind of see where it was going pretty fast. You could kind of see where the episode was gonna kind of take you. But then there was the subtle hint about, hey, we're gonna have to use an animation company that kind of does AI. And that was like a subtle thing that was about midway through the episode. And
Yeah,
I,
you didn't really think anything more of
yeah,
it.
yeah, you're like, oh, okay, that's odd. And then at the Comic Con where they think is going to be like, the whole controversial opinion about who's casted where, that's when the AI issue is actually brought up because somebody is like on a Reddit thread and they get an inside information. And with when Matt's asked about it, he turns to the director, and the director is like gone. He storms off. He's like leaving, and basically his fear of getting called out comes true, just not in the way that he thought because of using AI, which.
And then Ice Cube starts dogging him on
Yeah,
stage
Ice
with
Cube is
everybody.
giving him the finger and just telling him he sucks and everything like that. So it's pretty funny. But no, I thought this episode was hilarious. I cracked up, and it is funny because you just immediately you kind of know where it's going because they make the comments like very early, and no, there's just some funny comments that are made. Um, Ice Cube is hilarious, and like the 5 minutes he's in it, towards the very end, he definitely made me like I love Ice Cube already, and
He's not in enough stuff, I feel
no,
like.
he really isn't. He really isn't. But no, he's hilarious, and it's probably one of my favorite episodes to be honest. It's short to the point, but a lot of good laughs and the acting. I think the back and forth, like banter with um um Catherine Hine, Sal, Matt, and Quinn, like them all going back and forth is just hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, no, dude. Really, really solid episode. And it tackled a question that might be kind of hard to make fun of and make comedy about in Hollywood, but I think they did a really good job at it. It was so funny, dude. They just kept overthinking everything. Like, do we cast a black woman as his wife? Oh no, she has to be Asian. What about the kids?
Yeah.
What about the antagonists? We got Josh DeMille. No, we got to switch it up, make it an all black cast. We need Don Cheadle, Kiki Palmer. Um, so funny. It was done really, really well, and then it was so funny that didn't even end up being the issue, and then it was the AI. Kind of a little plot twist there, but super funny, solid episode. We still got a couple more weeks of it. I'm curious to see if they tackle any more of the Kool-Aid Man. Um, but yeah, yeah, really solid episode.
Don't use AI. I mean, it's that simple. Don't use AI. Don't do that. It's
Yes.
bad. Don't do that. Okay, that's all I really gotta say about it. But yeah, no, great episode. Probably I'd say top two or three episode of this show for this season. Yeah, I am very excited for the next two episodes, and hopefully we get more callbacks like that because kind of forgot about the Kool-Aid movie. Not gonna lie.
All right, so now we're going to be talking about the new episodes of Andor. Andor season two premiered last week with 3 episodes. Basically like a little miniature movie, which is very cool. I'm loving the way they're doing this. I hope more shows take notes. But yeah, so we got 3 more episodes this week. Takes place a year later, after the last 3. Um, and yeah, if you want to kind of take the reins and because you're the Star Wars guy and kind of explain and tell me what you thought. Pretty solid arc, how they're doing each, three episode arcs. But I don't think I liked these episodes as much as I liked last week's. But
Yeah,
curious.
yeah, so like he said, 1 year later, this is 3 years before the Battle of Yavin. So when BBY comes up, that's what that means. In case you didn't know. Did you know that? Okay, good. For any of you who don't know, BBY for the Battle of Yavin. Um, and basically the first episode is a lot of okay, what's been happening in a year. Andor and Bix are obviously together on
Coruscant.
is that
Right?
where it
I
was?
think they're on
They
Coruscant.
have to be. That's the only thing that would make sense. But I didn't think they explicitly told us. Maybe they did. But yeah, so that's it's catching up with them. We know that they've been there, since the events of them getting back together in episode 3. They're obviously in a relationship, and we also find out that I don't know his name, but you know who I'm talking. It's the hold on, hold on, one sec, one sec. I want to
Stellan
get his
Skarsgård?
no, no.
Cyril.
Y no,
Cyril.
no. The boy that was on with Bix, what's his name?
I don't know.
Okay, we
But
find
yeah,
okay, yeah, the boy that was with Bix in the first 3 episodes, he was either captured or found. He has knowledge of like a kind of like a not a
Willman.
weapon, huh?
Willman.
Willman. Not a weapon of sorts, but we know that it's something important that requires a lot of like you have to know exactly what to do. And we also see Saul Guerrera, which is I think a really cool character. He's a character that I care a lot about. Um, and he's actually really good in episode 3 when we get there. I think he has like a great monologue in episode 3. But yeah, we see Saul Guerrera again. And then we find out Cyril is working with some rebels that are on the planet that starts with a G. Um
Woman.
Gorman. And we see him like kind of getting in with the rebels, and we're like, okay, is this real or is this not real? And for the first episode, we kind of that's all we get. It's a lot of catching up with these characters, what's going on, but we know that Gorman is the planet that they wanted to basically control and get the spiders that are there and some weaving or the web that they have
And
there.
the minerals that are like
Yeah. And
on the
that's
planet.
basically where we're at on Gorman. Episode two, basically kind of, it's more stuff like that. And Andor is sent to Gorman for the first time. He's a fashion designer type. He's posing as a fashion designer to see the basically the leader or the funder of the rebels on Gorman.
Just kind of
And
see how it's going.
yeah, to see how it's going, see where they're at in the stages, what their plan is. But their plan basically is to rob a weapons depot or a weapons transport and get those weapons. The problem Andor has with it is that they are going to keep the weapons and use them as a show of force to say, hey, we have these weapons, we're going to keep these weapons. Andor thinks it's stupid, but Stellan Skarsgård's character makes a comment that, every revolution starts somewhere, and that's very important. We also see Bix having trouble and flashbacks to she's having trouble sleeping and she's having flashbacks to
When
basically
she was tortured.
or torture. Yeah. Which we'll get some clarification on that here in a minute in episode 3. And then episode 2 is more of Willman again, basically trying to train some guy that Saw Gerrera has picked to use the device on whatever siege they're doing. And again, it's a lot of setup. This one was probably, I would say, the weakest episode because this is just a lot of like world building, like a lot of world building. This is a filler episode in the 3 episode arc, I would say. You're just trying to figure out, you're getting to midnight basically, or the clock hitting zero on everything that's supposed to happen in episode 3. You're getting to that point. But at the end of the episode, Stellan Skarsgård, or that might have been in the beginning of episode 3, but he basically picks up Andor, and Andor tells him that he doesn't think this is the right move. We should not help the people on Gorman. They have the wrong idea, and they are basically gonna get like obliterated. Like this is not the example you want to make. And then episode 3, I think is actually a really strong episode. I don't know your thoughts on it. I think it's a very strong episode. We basically find out that Cyril is feeding information to the rebels on the behalf of Dedra and who's above her. And he's basically he's a double agent. He's not working for the rebels, but
He's
he's
pretending
feeding
to.
feeding information to the rebels. But the Empire is well aware of what's going on. Like they're basically telling him what to say and everything. Um, and I think that's awesome. I think that was a good little plot point. I thought it was interesting because I was like, there's no way Cyril is going to just betray the Empire like that. But of course, it's under Dedra's control, basically. We also get Willman, who is teaching this person how to control this weapon. And Saul Guerrera, he asked Saul Guerrera a couple of questions where you're like, okay, he's being a little bit too like forceful and he's trying to ask like too specific questions. And basically, Saul Guerrera kills him and he tells Willman that he's his guy. And I thought that was another good thing because there are two distinct questions that he asked. One being he asked Willman, where'd you learn this from? He's obviously trying to get information for the Empire. And then the second, he asked Saul Guerrera, I need to know exactly where this is going to happen so I can narrow down what I'm supposed to do. And Saul Guerrera is not dumb. He's very smart. And he basically shoots him in front of Willman, basically says, you're in the thick of it now. Willman, you're going to work for me. And then we get kind of a dual story going on at the same time. It is basically the rebels on Gorman taking over the weapons transport, and Stellan Skarsgård and her name starts with a K. Don't know exactly. They're at a political party with Mon Mothma and everybody, but Ben Mendelsohn's character is also there, and they're trying to get listening devices out of one of the artifacts that they sold to the person who is throwing the party. That's basically happening simultaneously. You can go from there if you want to.
Yeah. Yeah, her name is Clea. I just looked it
Clea,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, so the I thought the heist scene was pretty cool, even though you knew that the Empire knew what was going on the whole time. Um, and then I thought the more exciting scene was Clea um, down, in the art exhibit or whatever, trying to get that bug out of it essentially
Yep.
um, before they did their sweep and investigated everything. Because that would have given away, would have given away her and
Yep.
them
Yep.
because she's working out of the art store. So, um, yeah, I mean, it's solid 3 episode arc. I think it was probably. I don't think they were near as strong as last week's episodes. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have too much to say about it because I just didn't really love them honestly. I loved every character's arc last week, but this week I just felt was kind of pointless. But I guess Gorman is going to play a bigger role moving forward. Um, I'm loving that they're exploring Cassian and Biggs's relationship a little bit more. They're going to get us attached to them two together, and then she's going to die or something,
Yeah.
since she's not in Rogue One. But um, yeah, and then something you left off at the end of episode three. Once Andor returns back to Bix, at the very end of the episode, she basically goes and finds the guy that was torturing her in season one, that like weird doctor, and goes and does the same thing to him and just leaves him in the room with the torture headset on. And her and Andor, are walking out, leaving, and he clicks a button and blows up the building, which I thought was a really, really cool scene.
Yep.
I'm curious to see, where they go from there. Obviously, they're not going to be on Coruscant anymore, but Bix has made it a point this episode that she wants to be fighting alongside Andor. She doesn't
Yep.
want him to keep leaving. So hopefully she'll have a little more, maybe now that she has some satisfaction and relief that, that guy who she's been dreaming about is now dead. Maybe she'll be able to lock in and, play her part in the rebellion. So, um, yeah, I mean, still good TV, much better TV than a lot of other stuff we're getting nowadays. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I do think it took a little bit of a step down. But um, yeah, man, I'm excited to see, where it goes from here. I think Diego Luna's killing it. The whole cast is great. It's not a knock on the cast at all. I think everyone is fantastic. There's so many characters, but they're really spacing it out well, and like you spend enough time with each character that like you kind of are rooting for them. Whatever side of whether they're on the Empire or the Rebellion. Even like Dedra, like I'm kind of rooting for her and Cyril,
Yeah.
even though they're part of the Empire. But
Yep.
obviously, you're also rooting for Cassian and Bix and the Rebellion. So, yeah, I'm loving that. It's just much more grounded Star Wars, which is very cool. And I'm hoping it's something we could potentially get more of. But what did you think? You just kind of described everything. Did you like this arc?
Yeah. So I thought episode one, I think I'm hoping they do a better job because I know it's been a year, but if you're gonna do it 3 episodes and then we have to do another whole catch up episode, that kind of just I feel like that's kind of throwing like a wrench in, like it's gonna make it a little bit more clunky, and it's like just 3 episode, 3 episode, 3 episode. So hopefully they just do, like, hopefully going forward they do a better job of, after each year that goes by, let's just get, thrown into it. We know who these characters are. We know for the most part the fallout of what's gonna happen. But I thought episode two was the weakest. I thought that was a filler episode. Um, and there was just a lot of world building and explanation going on, which is fine. I understand that. And I thought episode three was actually really strong. I thought episode three, the part, where Cyril is basically, telling Dedra what's going on and being a double agent. Maybe that's at the end of episode two. That could be just, it's right there at the same time. I like, Bix getting her revenge. Hopefully that's some closure for her. Hopefully that's, Andor, because Andor was there. I thought at first it was just Bix and she did that on her own, but with Andor being there, then that probably is just like, okay, they're gonna go off world. Yes, this is gonna have some like consequence, but whatever. I thought the artifact whole scene, especially with Mon Mothra and Mendelsohn going back and forth, basically she's calling out the Empire. He's calling out her education and why he believes the Empire is good. great scene. I thought it was like so well back and forth because they both believe what they're doing, and that's what makes like characters so good. Um, and then I love Saul Guerrero's monologue, talking about, basically saying that, he asks him if he can smell that. He takes the mask off and he's like, "You smell that, you smell that. You think I'm crazy, but you have to be crazy to do this. Like, you deep down, I believe what I'm doing, and no one is gonna take my freedom away from me and stuff like that." Like, Saul Guerrero is fantastic in this, like, I don't know, it's like 5 minutes. It's literally 5 minutes, but he's down there in the thick of it, and I thought that was a great scene too. So I thought episode three was actually really strong, or I guess to be episode six was really strong. Really enjoyed it. Two was my least favorite, and then again, I hope that going forward, we don't get the first episode of these three episodes. Like the first episode I watch every Tuesday is not just a catch up episode. I don't want that. I don't think that's a good way to go about it, but
Yeah, I
what do
I
I know?
agree with you there. It's kind of funny you said two. You think two's the weakest. I think two out of all of these was my favorite, just because I enjoyed him playing playing the part of a fashion designer and going and investigating. I just thought it was cool, kind of see him pretend to be someone else,
Yeah.
like spy stuff.
Yeah, no, I
They're
definitely
undercover.
That's definitely like the best. I feel like that's the best part of the episode though, because by that point, remember in episode two, if he when he's just feeling out, which I do like the scene with him talking to the hotel concierge person, because he's kind of getting to know him. He's asking him questions about everything, and I feel like that's so much different from people in the Empire. They don't care who they're ruling; they just care that they are. But the rebels believe that they are fighting for a cause, and everybody's a human, and I like that
Yeah,
part. So I thought that scene was very interesting, and I thought it was very important. But yeah,
yeah,
no, the back and forth between Mon Mothma and Ben Mendelsohn's character, I thought was
Krennic.
superb. Superb. I thought
Yeah.
it was just amazing.
Yeah, no, definitely some really good stuff. Like I said, the acting is awesome. I think the cinematography and the special effects, everything, the sets, everything looks so good. Even better, some than like maybe stuff you see in Mando or Ahsoka. Just you can just tell the production quality is like way more than a lot of other Star Wars stuff. Which I really appreciate and like. So, yeah, no, I'm still obviously enjoying it. I love Star Wars, so I'm excited for the next two arcs. But yeah, so that's episodes 4, 5, 6 in Andor. So we'll see what happens a year from now, and then a year from then, and then we're called up to Rogue One. So I know K2SO is like confirmed. We got Forrest Whitaker, in this arc. I'm curious to see if we get anyone else we recognize. I'm also curious, like, dude, what if we get a little Vader or something? Who knows? Or the Emperor. Um,
We've had a Grand Moff Tarkin name drop a couple times, but
yeah, yeah. So we'll just have to see. But yeah, that's Andor. Um, And then, like we said at the beginning of this episode, Landon is not going to be here for the Thunderbolts review. But here in just a second for you all, we are going to jump into my review of the Thunderbolts because I will still be able to see it. I'm actually seeing it tomorrow night with my dad. Um, so I will have my review up and then we will insert it into this podcast. That's just like one whole thing. Um, but yeah, so I'll do all of the outro and stuff at the end of that one. But if you wanted to say goodbye or anything else, now's your chance.
goodbye, and I will have seen Thunderbolts. Hopefully, there's a potential chance that I have seen Thunderbolts by the time that this podcast, like the full wing, goes up. If not, definitely by the next episode. Super excited. The reviews look great. I'm very jealous that you get to see it in about less than 24 hours from now.
Yep.
I'm very excited. Everything points to this being a freaking awesome movie. And hopefully it is. I hope you enjoy it,
Yep. And we're
obviously.
gonna you can obviously like on the next episode you're on, I'll want to talk to you about it too so we can get your thoughts then. But yeah, super excited. So I'm about to jump into that. Future me, I hope you like the movie.
Bye,
But
guys.
Landon, we'll see you next week. All right, so time to talk Thunderbolts, the new release from Marvel Studios. It's the second Marvel Studios movie of 2025. We got Captain America: Brave New World back in February, and this is their first summer release. So Thunderbolts, if you don't already know, starring Florence Pugh, Sebastian Stan, Wyatt Russell, Hannah John Kamen, Lewis Pullman, David Harbour, among some other people. Um, and yeah, you basically get to spend a whole lot more time with these side characters that have been introduced in other movies throughout the multiverse saga. Characters that we really didn't know too much about. I mean, obviously you know a bunch about Bucky, but other than that, these are characters that you don't know that well. You don't know about their past or what they've been up to, or how they operate. So, um, yeah, this was basically like Marvel's Suicide Squad, essentially. You get a ragtag team of individuals that have nothing in common, have never worked together. They've all done some really bad things in the past, and that's a lot of what this movie is dealing with. Is like, um, you know, dealing with the all the horrible things that you've done, and how do you move on from that, and how do you accept that? Um, so right out the gate, I have to say that this movie is incredible. Um, I don't know. I don't know where it would rank in regards to all the movies for the multiverse saga, but it's probably top five. Very, very good. Um, very, very emotional and deep and dark. It's got to be the most like human and the most deep movie of the entire MCU. Like I said, like they're all dealing with all of the horrible things they've done in the past in different ways. This movie tackles depression and addiction and loneliness and like suicidal thoughts, like more than any other movie in the entire MCU. It was crazy. It was very, very funny as well, mostly from David Harbour's character. He's so funny. And obviously, you got some good action as well. But what sets this movie apart from literally every other movie in the MCU is it's just a pure emotion and pure humanity that it deals with. I didn't even really care that much about all of the cool action sequences, although they were awesome. Um, but just getting to it was like a 2 hour long therapy session with Marvel characters. It was so cool, so unique, unlike anything they've ever done. Um, and like I said, everybody kills it. Everybody has a great, great performance, but this is definitely like led by Florence Pugh. She is unreal. She has some genuinely like incredible emotional scenes. Um, like up there with like I could see certain scenes of hers in this movie like be nominated for awards. She was so good. She genuinely almost had me crying. Um, like just pure emotion and heart and soul, dealing with a lot of dark stuff, things that I deal with, things that a whole lot of other people deal with, and it's just sharing how these heroes or these anti-heroes deal with it as well. So um, yeah, absolutely loved this movie. We can kind of jump into spoilers. So um, Valentina, who has been kind of like you know getting all of these anti-heroes or these heroes together over the last couple years. Started in Black Widow um, with Yelena and Red Guardian, and then in the Falcon Winter Soldier TV show with U.S. Agent or John Walker. You also get Taskmaster for a little bit, not for long though. And then Hannah John came in from who plays Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp. And obviously, you get Bucky, who's been in a lot of things up until this point. So, a bunch of people that you really don't spend a lot of time with, and they've been um, grouped up by Valentina over the years. And essentially, she like has a big role in the government, and they're about to investigate her. So she has to get rid of all of her evidence of all the horrible things that she's done. Um, and so she basically sends all of them on a suicide mission to all either kill each other or just be burned alive. So they all get there and they fight, really cool sequence. And then out of nowhere, this guy Bob walks out, played by Lewis Pullman, who you later come to find out is Sentry. Um, so yeah, so they're all in this vault, like about to be incinerated, and they have to escape. Um, Very, very cool. They all quickly realize that they've been sent on a suicide mission, and that Val was trying to kill them to clear her name. So obviously they escape. They find out Bob has insane superpowers, and he is captured by Valentina's crew while the rest of them escape. And then Valentina brings him back to the city, back to New York City in Avengers Tower, which is now like the Thunderbolts Tower. Um, so that was very cool to kind of see for the first time what that building, what it is after all these years. So yeah, brings Bob or Century back to this building and basically tells him, hey, like we created you. You were part of an experiment um, to basically build like an invincible individual, kind of similar to like Vision in Age of Ultron. But I would say he's probably more powerful than Vision, which is crazy. But she tells him that he was part of this experiment and he was the only success, and that he's going to be her new hero. He's going to be the new like leader of the Avengers. Blah blah blah. And she gives him this new suit. They dye his hair just to make him look like a golden boy, literally, because his suit is gold. And then the Thunderbolts get back to town and go to confront Valentina, and then she has Century like fight them essentially, and you just see that he is just absolutely broken. He's the most overpowered um, hero that we've seen in a long time. So I'm very very excited to see more of him. But they fight, and then he turns into the Void and starts just evaporating people, turning them into shadows. Consumes the entire city of New York. Um, and basically, people go into this like dark part of their mind where they have to relive the worst and darkest moments of their life. Um, Really, really cool, unique stuff. Kind of trippy, but very cool the way they handled it. And so basically, Yelena is going through all these super dark moments of her life and finds Bob in a secret room, and she's just telling him how important he is, and that he still matters, and he can fight this dark side of him just like they all have. And then the rest of the Thunderbolts show up, and the Void shows back up, and basically you get this awesome scene of Bob going to fight the Void and just like prove that he is just as important and just as powerful without this dark side of him. And they all go to group hug him, and um, they essentially save the day, just by showing that they're there for one another, and that somebody's got their backs and somebody's got Bob's back, and he doesn't have to be alone anymore. So very very cool, very emotional, some cool action with some awesome characters and funny moments as well. It was like the most refreshing a Marvel movie has felt probably since Endgame. It just felt separated enough from everything, and it wasn't just ridiculously multiversal or like crazy space stuff. It was just grounded and emotional and raw, and I think that's why I loved it so much. Um, this group of individuals should not have worked, but my God, it does. Um, and I absolutely cannot wait to see them some more. And basically, the biggest like reveal of the movie is you finally found out what the asterisk means in the title. So at the very last scene of the movie, Val basically like tricks them into coming on a stage and announces the new Avengers. And then Florence Pugh leans over to her, Yelena leans over to her and says, "We own you now," because Val knows that if they get mad at her or something, they can just reveal what she really did to them, and that she almost killed the entire city of New York. Um, so you come to find out that this group is now the new Avengers, and then at the end, when it shows the title card, like in the credits, it shows the asterisk, and then it like peels back and it says the new Avengers. So this movie was basically the new Avengers movie, not necessarily the Thunderbolts movie. The asterisk was just like a placeholder, which was very cool, very unique. So yeah, no, awesome movie. Like I said, they save Bob and he becomes part of the team. So I'm very, very excited to see all of them, in the next Avengers movie um, that's coming out next year. That just started filming. So um, yeah, I thought that the whole asterisk thing was very, very cool. They've been teasing that a lot in the marketing. And then the end credit scene, you get them like a year later in the Avengers Tower, and then they get an alert that that something is entering the atmosphere, and they look up, and it's the Fantastic Four's ship, presumably after the events of the Fantastic Four First Steps, which comes out in a couple months. So everything's kind of starting to tie together. The Avengers are officially back. The Fantastic Four have officially entered this universe. Probably after their universe gets destroyed. But yeah, no, just awesome, awesome movie. Florence Pugh MVP. David Harbour was hilarious. Lewis Pullman was fantastic as Bob or Century. Um, Literally everyone was great. Everyone delivered a very solid performance, and I'm very excited to see this team back together in Avengers Doomsday next year. So yeah, so I'll jump into my rating. After sleeping on it for a night, I settled at 5 stars. It is a great MCU movie, and I said with my Captain America: Brave New World review that I tend to rate Marvel movies higher just because I just have such a soft spot in my heart for Marvel. Um, so I rated Captain America 4 stars, and this is 100% like certainly better. And I gave it 5 stars. I gave it I rated it a 9.5. Um, right there. Actually tied with Neja 2 for my highest rating of the year, but I bumped this above. So Thunderbolts coming in at 5 stars and a 9.5 is currently my number one on the year. It just hit me like a ton of bricks, and I think that was the goal of this movie, not to necessarily showcase cool action or a lot of humor, which it did have, but it was just so emotional and raw and dark, and like I said, it just felt like a 2 hour therapy session. Um, which I loved it. They took a swing, and I didn't know if it was going to work when they announced it or the first trailer came out, but my God, it did. I'm so glad I was wrong. Definitely one of my top five, probably top three movies since Endgame. Um, Up there with like Guardians 3 and, No Way Home. So, unbelievable movie. If you love Marvel, even in the slightest, go check it out. It is so much fun. And I cannot wait to see these characters more going forward. And I think Marvel's on a tear right now. Like Captain America or Deadpool last year was very good. Captain America was really solid. Daredevil was great, and then you get this, and then you get Fantastic Four in a couple months. So um, Marvel seems to be pulling it all together in time for Doomsday. So we'll just have to see what Ironheart looks like. That actually comes out next month in June, and then Fantastic Four and how it all ties together to get ready for Doomsday next year. So I'm very excited. But I very much love Thunderbolts. Go check it out. Tell us what you thought. I'm excited to hear Landon's thoughts once he sees it. I'm sure on the next episode he'll give us his brief thoughts. But yeah, so thank you all for watching. Sorry for the different kind of video review this week since he is out of town. But yeah, I still wanted to get a review out. Any Marvel movie is a big deal, so wanted to talk about it with you guys and share my thoughts. Like we say at the end of every video, like and subscribe. Continue to comment and interact with us on Twitter. We really appreciate it. We love it. We love talking movies with people. Everything's in the description. You need to follow. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for listening. And me and Landon, will be talking with you next week. Peace.